Alright, I wanted to take a look at problems 3 through 8 on your homework, which I'm collecting tomorrow. So we have a cart, and the spring is compressed, and then the car rolls up a ramp, and what we actually established was all of the energy starts off as being elastic energy, and as it rolls up this ramp, we're going to assume that there is no friction. So what that means is that we have height, and we have speed. Now, one thing I want to note is compared to problem 1, where we concluded in class that we have elastic energy that becomes kinetic, and excuse me, potential. We have a huge block of potential energy here because it's very high up. Here, the height's not as much, so what that means is that we have maybe 2 bars of gravity energy and 2 bars of kinetic, so it's going a little faster down here. So the way we write conservation of energy here is EE equals EK plus EG. Now for number 4, we're going to assume that there's friction, so it actually turns out the elastic energy is going to be the same, but here we're going to have the same amount of gravity energy as we had before since the height's the same, and now we're going to have some kinetic and a little bit of dissipated. So if you notice, we have a total of 4 blocks of energy here and 4 here. So our elastic energy becomes kinetic plus gravitational plus dissipated. And here we have a similar idea. I don't want to give you the answers, but what I want to tell you is, since this is 0, that tells us that E gravity initial is 0, but that E kinetic is greater than 0. And we're assuming there's no friction. So notice here our height is greater than 0, whereas our kinetic is equal to 0, and we have no elastic energy at all. So I'm going to let you use these facts to figure out what's going on. Notice these are the indicators of whether we have gravity energy, whether we have kinetic energy. So again, if V is greater than 0, we have E kinetic. If H is greater than 0, then we have E gravity. But of course, you need to finish these. Now, since we have friction, you're going to need to change the answer to number 6 by including E dissipated in number 6. And then for number 7, what I'm going to recommend you do here is treat this as spring energy. So what we're saying is that we have all elastic to begin with, because this tells us EG is 0 and EK is 0 to start with. So you've got to figure out what's happening here. I will say, since the person falls over, there's no E elastic at the end. And then here, I'm going to let you figure it out once again. We have E elastic, we have no gravitational energy, and no kinetic energy to start with. And then you have to figure out what's happening here. Notice there's no friction, so there's no E dissipated. So those are some good hints to help you do problems 3 through 8. They're not automatic hints that give you the answer. You'll have to think a little bit. And so I hope this helps, and we'll check in tomorrow.